What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about the first run in the HOKA Clifton 10s. As promised, I am releasing this video today, and yeah, we're gonna do my first impressions after running 3 miles. I actually did a track workout in these. I mean, it was kind of a light track workout. I don't exactly know how to do them. So it was a 3 mile tempo workout that I did in the Clifton 10s. And I'm here to give you guys my first thoughts and first impressions after the first run. So let's start with the outsole. So the outsole, I mean, on the track, it was totally fine. Traction wise as well as durability wise, it's literally the first run. The track, I would say, is pretty standard. It's not one of those bouncy tracks, but it's more just like asphalt. And I had no problems with the grip. I felt like it really stuck to the track well. It wasn't super sunny, but it was a little bit gloomy and didn't really affect the track at all or the traction on the Clifton 10. So really no complaints there, but I would be a little bit concerned if it wasn't good on those conditions or any shoe for that matter. And as for durability, I mean, it was literally 3 miles, so I'm not even gonna comment on durability. So traction slash outsole, good to go so far. Moving on to the midsole of the Clifton 10. As we were talking about a couple days ago, this is a full-length CM EVA midsole. Shout out to the person that commented explaining how it was a compression molded EVA. I think that's just a fancy term for it's EVA. So shout out to you. I'm gonna put your comment on the screen right now. And I really appreciate the comment because I genuinely didn't know that. So essentially you have a full length EVA midsole. I forgot exactly what the stack height in the heel and the forefoot was, but I'm gonna throw it up on the screen. And they did change it from last year's model, the Clifton 9, having a 5mm heel to toe drop to 8mm this year. How did the midsole perform in my tempo workout? So my tempo workout, again, I'm kind of new to this, so like it's probably like my third or fourth time at the track. And what I did was I did 800 meters, so 2 laps where it was just a warm up, and then I did 400-meter repeats. Don't exactly know if that's the correct term, but essentially I ran 400 meters 6 times. So basically I ran 6 laps, 1 lap fast, 1 lap slow, and then 1 lap fast, 1 lap slow, 1 slow. You kind of get the point. So it was kind of like on and off. And I was hitting probably like 130 to 140, which is around a 6-minute pace, a little bit slower than a 6-minute pace on some of the laps. And then on my recovery laps, I was running probably around like a 11-minute pace or a 10.5-minute pace. I was really tired. I'm out of shape. So how did these shoes perform? Obviously, they're not meant for tempo workouts, but just in case you're gonna buy one shoe to do all your workouts or all your runs in, I wanted to kind of test these and see how they did on the speed days. Obviously, it's more of a max cushion daily trainer, so I didn't expect it to perform too well, but honestly, it wasn't bad. It felt just not super responsive. It was a little bit more plush or soft than I probably would have liked when trying to push the pace, but it still held up perfectly fine. I did feel like when I was turning the edges on the corners of the tracks, it didn't feel like I had that ground feel that I wanted, and it didn't feel like I could turn over as fast. It felt like I had a lot on my foot when it came to a cushion point of view, but that was nice for my joints and just how my body reacted in general because of that extra cushioning. But this cushion is definitely more on the soft side and not as much on the responsive side. So you're gonna put a lot of energy in, but you're not gonna get a lot of response back, or you're not gonna get a whole lot of energy back or spring from the shoe. So, I mean, it's to be expected. I wasn't really expecting the shoe to be great at faster runs. Now, when I was doing my recovery jogs around the track, that's where this shoe I think did pretty well. Wasn't revolutionary. It didn't feel extra comfortable. Like I said, it is an EVA foam, but there is a lot of it in this shoe. So it wasn't mind-blowing, but it did feel like it was protecting my body, and it honestly did the job, but it just wasn't mind-blowing. So cushioning overall, I hope maybe gets better with time, but I'm a little bit reluctant or doubtful that it is going to get better over time. If anything, it's gonna get worse over time because usually EVAs, especially for bigger runners like myself, I feel like flatten out. I did feel that the forefoot, when I was pushing the pace, it kind of already bottomed out, or like I felt like I was feeling the ground a little bit. It was weird because like in the beginning of the workout when I was running slow, you know, like the foam wasn't compressing all the way, but as I kind of put more of the faster reps in, I did feel like the forefoot was sinking down. So I guess I did get a little bit of that ground feel, but it still felt like it was a lot under my foot. And then the foam didn't really come back up when I was doing other reps. So over time, like over the course of the workout, I felt like the foam was getting less and less, and it still was more on the soft side and not super on the responsive side. So don't know if I'm explaining that 100% right, but obviously I think that these aren't gonna be the best for track workouts or faster workouts, and I just wanted to throw it at them and see how they perform. So honestly, they perform pretty well for a max cushion daily trainer. But overall, not super impressed with the midsole, but we'll see as I put more miles on them. I'm gonna throw a long run at these maybe tomorrow or eventually sometime this week, and hopefully get my full review by maybe next week or a week and a half once I get 25 to 30 miles in the shoe. Now, when it comes to the upper of the shoe, as I said in my first impressions of the shoe, I do think that these run true to size. True to size, maybe with like a caveat of if you have a low volume foot or a narrow to medium foot, you might be able to go down half a size. I also did feel like lengthwise, I did feel like the shoe was a little bit long, or it felt longer than my other size 12 shoes. But like I said, I have a wider than average foot. And honestly, this year's last felt a little bit better than last year's. I've only tried on the Clifton 9s, but I do feel like some Hokas run really narrow, and this shoe feels like it's more accommodating towards those wider footed people like myself, which I personally really like. But I did feel like there still was a lot of volume in the toe box, as well as a little bit longer than maybe I'm used to in a size 12. So take that with a grain of salt. Everyone's foot is shaped differently, but I just want to say that for the forefoot space, there is a lot of it. Midfoot and heel lockdown, especially with the runner's loop, was actually pretty good in the shoe. It actually kind of surprised me. But when it comes to the upper materials, I still do think that this is a little bit thicker or more rigid of a mesh than I personally would have liked. And I do think that the tongue is very fat and not breathable. So I think if breathability is something you're looking for, this shoe is definitely not gonna be it. And that's gonna pretty much wrap up my thoughts on the upper and fit of the Clifton 10. So overall, after my first run, I know it was kind of a weird first run for a max cushion daily trainer, like a faster workout with some recovery paces thrown at it, but overall it did pretty solid. Obviously it's not my first option for a tempo workout, but I did want to see how it reacted, and it did the job just fine. I would say that I'm not expecting really big things from this shoe, and also priced at $150. I really don't like that Hoka increased the price this year on this model. I felt like they should have kept it at $145, or maybe even drop the price to all the other daily trainers, which is around $140, just because I feel like the midsole technology, the upper is also nothing special. So both of those aspects are nothing special. So I don't really see how you can really justify that price point, especially in 2025, when we have other great options priced at a lower price point than this shoe. So we'll see. I'm gonna hold my tongue a little bit because I am gonna put more miles on the shoe to kind of see if the shoe changes my mind at all. But highly doubtful, just because I don't know. I just have a feeling, but we'll see. I don't want to be too biased going into the rest of the miles in the shoe, but yeah, that's gonna pretty much wrap up my first run review on the HOKA Clifton 10s. Let me know in the comment section down below if you're excited to try these shoes out, or if you have the Clifton 9s. Maybe you're thinking about upgrading and stuff. Curious to see in the comment section down below. And yeah, appreciate every one of you guys watching the videos, and I will catch you guys in the full review, as well as maybe some comparison videos or first impressions of other shoes in between. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.